Hurry up, coffee. Hurry up. Hurry up. I ought to get one of these coffee makers that has the timer here, and that way I can set it the night before, and that way when I come into the shop it's already ready, but that kind of scares me fire hazard wise, so maybe not. Good morning, guys. It's Monday morning. Last week we did a Monday morning briefing video, just kind of threw it together. It's just kind of more of a laid back video, and y'all seem to like it, so we're going to go ahead and continue doing that. I'm sure I'll miss some Mondays here or there, but we're going to go ahead and try to do that. First and foremost, an update. I did find some stevia. Somebody commented that this stuff comes in a very large bag, so I might have to look into that. I try not to eat too much of it or consume too much of it in my coffee, but supposedly the sweet and low's rat poison, which I pretty much knew that, but sugar's pretty bad too, so I try to stay away from sugar unless it's in Reese's peanut butter cups, Dr. Pepper, or Bluebell ice cream. That's about the only thing I have a sweet tooth for. And if you don't know what Bluebell ice cream is because you're not from Texas, then I encourage you to make a trip, have some ship, something. But that is the only ice cream on the planet, so just heads up. Also, update on my wife. She did have a bone spur. I should have been a podiatrist instead of a saddle maker, but I wanted to do something more challenging. She has that and maybe a little plantar fasciitis or something. That sounds weird. I don't even know what that is, but she's supposed they got to stretch her foot and stuff. But other than that, she's good. She's not crippled. She's still able to clean stalls. I appreciate everybody giving her best wishes and all that kind of stuff, but she's very much ambulatory. So she's good. She's good. She just got a little pain. She didn't know what it was, so she get it checked out. Don't worry about it. And we need to get back to running. My wife likes to run and do these little 5Ks and half marathons and stuff like that, and then I get volunteered to go as well and push the babies in a stroller. And if you haven't seen the fat man hustle of me pushing a stroller, it's pretty comical. But I get it done. Kids like it, they enjoy it, and they get to run across the finish line while I'm throwing up in the ditch. So that usually works pretty good and makes mama happy. And that's all that really matters. So I'm just waiting on coffee, waiting on the coffee. I've only had one cup. I usually have a couple cups before I come to work, but today I was in a hurry to get here to do this video for you, and so I've only had one, so I'm running a little bit behind, running a little bit slow. Also had a YouTube subscriber, and you know who you are, and I know who you are, commented that I was still wearing a straw hat after Labor Day and that I was going to get in trouble with the fashion police. That may be the case. I don't really care. It's hot down here. I was still wearing my straw hat. I put a felt on today because we got a little cold front coming in, so that feels really nice. I wish it would have been here this weekend when we were cutting and welding pipe. So we just set a bunch of posts at the house and building some traps and stuff, and it was hot. It was very hot. But this morning we've got a nice cold front coming in. It's supposed to be in the 50s at night here, so that's pretty good for us. And so I went ahead and put the felt on. So there, now make all the fashion people out there happy. All the cowboy etiquette things on when you're supposed to be wearing a hat, all that kind of stuff. But I'll tell you this, my hat doesn't match my belt or my boots, so there. Oh yeah, she's gurgling now. I'm very impatient when it comes to coffee, and they say you'll ruin a pot by getting a cup first before it's finished brewing. I really don't care. I'm tired of waiting. This thing is slower than Christmas. I like to leave those there because it annoys people that come and get coffee. This little cup. Oh yeah. Ah, that's good, Joe. I don't know who Joe is. All right, coffee in hand, put my cap on. That means I'm ready to work. You see me with a cowboy hat on in the shop, that means I'm not doing anything. I can't really work in a hat. I can't even really work in a cap most of the time, especially if I'm tooling. I tend to hit my bill. But anyway, Monday morning, cool weather. September's almost gone, which is kind of weird because it feels like September just got here, and now it's gonna be October. Once we hit October, I feel like we're in Christmas season. Like I kind of skip over Halloween, Thanksgiving. I'm just pretty much in Christmas mode usually, most of the time. We're starting to get a lot of inquiries about Christmas orders and stuff like that. So we're already starting to get geared up. A couple things. Last week, I didn't get any belts tooled, but today I am tooling belts. I have to. My belts usually run 3 to 4 weeks out, and so that's not how long it takes me to make a belt, but I tell my customers 3 to 4 weeks because I got so much other stuff going on, that's when I can fit it in. Usually from the time I tool a belt to the time it's finished, 2, maybe 3 days, depending on what's going on. Customers sometimes have a hard time understanding there's a lot going on in the shop, especially now with the YouTube stuff, creating videos and things like that, and pattern packs and projects and all the kinds of stuff. So, which is a good thing, but there's only one of me, and so if I'm not painting a belt, well, now Claudia's learned how to paint belts, so that's pretty cool, because I don't mind painting belts. I like painting, but it takes so much of my time when there's other things that other people can't do that I need to be doing. So she's getting started on learning how to two-tone and paint and dye, and so that's working out really good. So usually 2 to 3 days I can have a belt from the time I start tooling it to the time it's done, and that's not me working on just that belt either. That's me juggling it within everything else, the saddles and repairs and handling customers and on the phone and emails and stuff. So, which is pretty good turnaround. So, but there's one of these that's getting up to the 3-week mark. It's not quite 3 weeks, but I like to have them go out at least a week early if possible. Keeps customers happy. It's kind of a little tip for you if you've got a shop and you're quoting people time frames and stuff. If you think it's honestly going to take you a minimum of 2 weeks and it's going to be 2 weeks, tell them 4 weeks, ship it in 3, and they're happy because they got it a week early. Like, just always do that. Always try to overserve. So try to turn in early. I have not been good about that for the entirety of my 15-year career. We've been late, we've missed dates, we've done things like that, but in general, we try our best, and over that time, I've learned that if I'll just lengthen out that time, if you tell them up front it's going to be 6 weeks and you ship it in 3, they're not mad. But if you tell them 3 and ship it in 6, they're going to be kind of upset. And so I try not to do that. So that's what I would recommend, is always try to overshoot that just a little bit. But anyway, didn't get any belts tooled, but we're going to today. They're all cut and prepped and ready to go, so I just got to sit down and draw and tool. As far as the saddles go, we'll get to those in a minute, but I've got one new product in that I had some folks ask me about, and it's a Skidmore's leather cream. We've carried this for 10 years probably. I've always used it for the bulk of my career, and I love it. It's really neat stuff. It's like a cream, and it's got lots of vegetable oils in it, and then its base is beeswax. So it's a lot of beeswax, stuff like that. Very natural, very good stuff for conditioning your leather. Real quick, we have articles on our website about that, but just to kind of touch base on that a little bit, oil is, you've got to oil leather. Oil is needed, but it's not a conditioner, and conditioner is a separate thing, in my opinion, the way I look at it. So I kind of look at it as oil is the gas for your car, and your conditioners are your grease and your oil that actually keep everything lubricated. So a lot of people have a squeaky saddle or something and oil the heck out of it and then say, well, it's still squeaking. Well, it's going to squeak till it breaks in, for one, and also oil's not going to stop a squeak. Skidmores will help to stop that friction, that squeaking that's going on inside the saddle. But also when it comes to waterproofing, rejuvenating, keeping things soft, all that kind of stuff, oil alone is not going to do that. If it's done from the very beginning all the way throughout its life, properly done, then yes. But what happens is you're going to lose oil as you use it, as it's in the weather, as it's in the elements. So you want to also top with some type of conditioner that's going to kind of lubricate those fibers and tie in and help to tie in that oil. And so Skidmore is what I recommend. There's a lot of them out there. Ray Holes, there's a bunch of different kinds out there, and everybody's got their one go-to. Use whatever you like. But Skidmore's to me is one of the best, if not the best, and it's what I recommend everybody. But we used to sell this in our store when we had our big store on Highway 21 in Bryan, and we sold this all the time. We always had it. I buy it in the gallon paint cans, and that's what I use in the shop. So on all our new saddles and stuff, I just go through it too fast to use these smaller ones. But I buy the pints and the 6 ounces, and we used to sell them all the time, and now we have them again. I carried them some when I was in the private studio setting, but now we have them on the sales floor. We also have them on the website. For a custom craftsman, like if you're making new stuff, you can certainly use this on new stuff. I don't use it on belts and portfolios and binders and stuff like that. Those kind of items, after they're broke in and stuff, we'll go back and condition them with some Skidmores. But at the first, you're usually doing dye work, paint work, something like that. You want them, you want them kind of shiny and kind of new looking and all that kind of stuff. So I don't really put any Skidmores on that stuff. You certainly can. And I have in the past, but now I just found I don't like to do it on that type of personal item that somebody's gonna be using. After it's broke in, a guy comes in with his belt and he's been wearing it for 6 months or whatever, a year, you can certainly give it a little wipe down with Skidmores and then even go over it with tan coat after that. But that's kind of how I said on that. But as far as new saddles, rough out saddles, tooled saddles, whatever, they all get Skidmores on there. because it's going to help condition that saddle, seal that saddle, give it a little bit of a waterproofing effect to where the water won't do as much damage. And it's going to give that saddle a really good jump start on life and help conceal some of that oil, because most customers don't oil their saddles regularly enough, nor do I. Most of my stuff at home is getting a little dry. I need to stay better about that, but it's hard to remember to do that once a month or once a quarter or whatever you want to do. So Skidmore's just kind of helps you with that. And then on repair, it's great for any kind of repair stuff. Boots, if you're doing boots, it'll waterproof your boots, your work boots, hunting boots, any of that kind of stuff. Gun leather, it's great on gun leather, and I will use it on new gun leather just to give it that softer feel and more of a gun leather type hand to it. So I recommend Skidmore's. We've got it on the website. You can get it anywhere. But a lot of people have asked about it and why I use it and how I use it, and that's kind of how I use it. It's good stuff. What else? Some of y'all might have seen on our Instagram, we did an entire kit for our wristlet purse. This one's the ostrich with the green suede. I really like that green suede right there. Oh no. But, so I just had an idea, you know, it's one of them deals where when it comes to like using Herman oak leather, quality leather, we get a lot of people that ask, what kind of leather do I use? Or they're having trouble and they're not getting the color that they want, or they're not getting the feel or the dye work they want out of the leather that they're using. And a lot of times they're using an economy type leather or an import type leather, whether you're getting it from Tandy or Weaver, wherever you're getting it from. But most entry-level guys are getting their stuff from Tandy. That's where we all started. It's a fantastic company, and it's a great springboard to get you started. But a lot of times the leather that you're getting from them isn't going to be quite as good for tooling, for optimizing your skill set. So as you're tooling, you might not see the amount of burnish for one. That's one of the biggest things I get on YouTube is why does yours have so much more color than mine? It's just a simple fact. It's not the tools. A lot of my tools are craft tools, and it's not how much, sometimes it's how much water you're putting in there, you're tooling it too wet. But a lot of times it's just you started with a material that's not going to do that. So it's just not going to do the same. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to start taking some, as I have time. It may end up being more of these more often, but as I have time, I've got Herman oak. That's all I tool is Herman oak leather. That's pretty much all I have. I've used Wicket in the past. It's good leather. I don't have any problem with it, but Herman oak is my preferred, just because of the temper, the feel, and the color that I get out of it. My wife and I were talking, and I thought, why don't we just sell? They're already cut. They're ready to go. Like, everything's there. Why don't we put them up there? If somebody wants them, they can take them. They can buy them, and then you've got Herman oak leather, quality skins to work with. Everything's right there. And that way you don't have to worry about buying an entire side of Herman oak. That's usually the kind of barrier to entry on using Herman oak. One is buying from the tannery, because you've got to buy a certain amount. And then two is buying a whole side. A lot of you guys might not need an entire side of leather. I remember the first side I bought, I thought I'll never use it all. You know, and now we cut 10 sides a month probably. But this is a good way. You're going to pay more for it per foot, or per inch, per foot, per square foot. You're going to pay quite a bit more buying it by the piece like that. I know there's a lot of companies that will cut by the foot, so they can cut you 2 foot, 4 foot, whatever. You're paying an extreme premium for that. But it's a lot easier to swallow whenever you're buying a piece of leather for $60 versus an entire side for $250. So that's the thing that makes it a lot easier. There's a convenience fee in that. Plus you've basically taken a big portion of a quality hide that now is only a scrap or a partial hide. It's not no longer is it a full hide or a full side. And so that's what we wanted to kind of try to do, was just make something simple, a little entry-level deal where you can buy a kit. One of our projects that we've done, we started out with a wristlet purse because I was cutting wristlet purses. And so you're going to buy, if you took advantage of that, I've only got the ostrich ones left. I already sold the 2 chap ones. If you saw our Instagram stories and on our Instagram feed, we had 2 chap, 1 yellow chap, and it was actually golden, but it looks yellow, and then 1 brown chap wristlet kit. And so it had all the pieces in there, the zipper, the D, all the stuff that you need to make that. And then we had 2 of the ostrich ones. One is ostrich quill on the outside and then smooth quill on the inside. The other one is full quill on the outside and a green suede for the inside liner. The only reason these have a liner on the ostrich is because the ostrich is so thin that I feel like it's just too thin. And so it needs to have some kind of backing to give it a little bit more body. And so that's why you line those. The chap ones, you don't need to line those. And if you watched our video, we didn't line those either. I may have lined the alligator one. I don't remember. That was a long time ago we did that video. But anyway, the kit thing was kind of new. We just kind of threw that out there last week and came to us. We were thinking about it. And we thought, well, heck, let's just try it and see. And we ended up selling 2 of them, so that's great. So from time to time, as I'm cutting things, I may start cutting out extra. Like right now, I need these though, I can't sell these, but I've got 4 wallets cut out. This is all Herman oak leather. Again, it's all a tool. These are the backs. I don't have all the pockets cut yet, but that's something very simple that I could do. You know, cut out liners, pockets, all the stuff, throw a spring clip in there, and rock on and sell you that. And then you're tooling Herman oak, and you've got a smaller initial investment instead of buying an entire side, because in order to build this wallet, you'd need 2 sides. You would need a side of 5/6 and a side of 2/3 or 3/4 for your interiors. So that's $400 right there to buy 2 sides of leather, which you can make a lot of stuff out of. And if you're running any size on your shop, or if it's like somewhat of a business, you've probably got a lot of that leather laying around, so there's no reason to really buy it. If you've got Herman oak laying around, you're good to go. But if you're starting out and you're trying to figure out what leather you like and this and that, you may not like Herman oak. And so if you buy a whole side, you're stuck with a whole side. Now you got to make stuff out of it, or you might not like wick and crepe, you know, whatever you're going to use. And so this is a way to kind of give it a whirl. You can try some Herman oak, tool on it, see what you think, and then kind of go from there. Then you might make a decision to go ahead and buy, you know, 10 sides from the tannery, which that'd be awesome, because then you'd have 10 sides just to tear into and make all kinds of stuff. But that's something we worked on last week. We're going to see how it goes. I mean, I don't have a clicker or anything at the moment. We're looking into that, into expanding into that. But for right now, it's going to be smaller items, and as I can cut them, I'm not really taking a request. But I will offer what I have available through the interwebs as they become available. Like I said, the only thing I've got right now are those 2 ostrich wristlet deals. They're ready to go. They're still available, but I'll build them. If I don't hear something probably by next week, I'll probably go ahead and just build them, because that's what I cut them for, was to build them for the floor, and they will sell. My other one sold already, so I don't have any out there, so I'd like to put some more out there. But and it works out too with even with the ostrich. You know, you can buy the ostrich kits are expensive, more expensive than the chaplains were, but that's a $400 skin of ostrich that we bought. So when you buy an entire skin, that's quite a bit of an investment to make one project. So this may be a way too to be able to try out some exotics without having to purchase an entire skin, because especially if you're talking American alligator, you know, a skin of American alligator could be $1,000, $1,500. And so depending on the size and how big you want it, you know. But as we get exotics, I might cut a few kits out of them or something like that and offer them up. And if, you know, again, for me, it works great. If you buy them, great, no big deal. I cut it, I made a little bit of profit, and I didn't have to make anything, so it leaves my schedule a little bit more open. But if nobody wants it, I can build it and then sell it. So that's actually where I'll make more money, is when I sell the finished product, obviously. But I've got more time into it. So either way, whether they sell or they don't sell, it's good for the shop. So and I figured y'all might be interested in that, and obviously work, because we already sold the 2 chaplains. So once my wife learns how to cut, and maybe if we got a clicker, you never know what she'll come up with that she'll offer you guys as far as making things and cutting things out. She may come up with all kinds of different little kits and stuff to go through. She gets tired of looking at all the scrap leather that I just have in boxes and that I don't use for anything. But I like it that way, because when I need something, I know where it is. It may be 10-year-old chap leather, but it's a special color that I saved for a reason. Now I need it, and there it is. But she wants to turn it into stuff. I don't like it when she does that, because then I run out of leather and I gotta buy more. Whatever, we'll buy more. Okay, as far as saddles go, this one I didn't make very much progress on, but this one here we got the front on last week, and so it went on good. We had one spot there. We got the riggings hung too, I guess. We hadn't had those on there yet, but this swell cover had a real hard spot in it, and so we ended up having to put a heel brake on here. We showed that in the swell cover video that we did here semi-recently. But anyway, I had to put one on there because man, it was really, really tough. But it went down real nice. It's nice and tight. There's no bubbles underneath there. Everything looks good. And so that front is ready to go, and we got our cantle cover on there, and so that's shaped, and we'll do some trimming and stuff like that. But this saddle will be ready for skirts and fitting of the skirts and everything, and we'll start getting those going and get this saddle kind of rocking. This saddle over here is an in-skirt rig. I did check on that, and it is an in-skirt rig, so we're about to stick skirts on this one. So now I've got to do a front on this one this week, and then the cantle cover, and then we'll do skirts on both of these at the same time. And like I said, we'll try to keep them moving together. I've got some more over there that have horns and ground seats in them that I've got to move forward on too, so we'll get some riggings cut for those and that sort of thing. And last week we were working on a video too on knife scabbards. I told you I was going to do one on the folding knife sheath. I've got all 4 of them. We're doing 4 in the video. And so I've got all 4 of them tooled. I just did kind of some geometric stuff and then 2 floral ones. But these are ready to go. Now I'm not going to paint these or dye these. I'm going to do them very simple just because I want to show you how fast these go together. And so we'll wrap this video up this week and finish up the pattern pack and stuff. This will be a project video, so there will be a pack available to make these with the pattern. And in the video I show you how to use the pattern for different size knives and stuff like that with the tooling window. Makes your life a whole lot easier. And but I'm going to do one of these buck stitched, one of them whip laced, and then 2 of them sewn, basically, just to show you the 3 different ways you can do it. Now you can obviously hand sew these very easily. I'm not going to hand sew them. I'm going to sew them on the machine, but you get the picture. You can hand sew these without any trouble. The main reason that I want to show you the buck stitch and the whip lace is because you'll do your edge differently. Because when I sew these, I'll glue these down, sew them with all this extra on there, and then we'll trim after sewing. Obviously when you braid or you do buck stitch, you really need to do all that first, because you can't leave all this excess here and braid the edge, obviously, because then the knife scabbard would be mucho large. And so what we're going to do is we'll glue them down. I'll show you how to scribe that line, trim that, edge it, bevel it, all that stuff, slick it and dye it, and then it's ready to buck stitch or braid, whatever you want to do. But that's what we're going to do with these. We're going to go ahead and put those together and wrap that video up, get that done. So as far as repair saddles go, we have one new one that came in that we're actually going to be for sale. It's a 14-inch roper, and so we'll go through and kind of clean this saddle up, get some good pictures of it, put it on the sales floor. And so luckily we're still not covered up in a repair, so I like that because we've got a lot of other things we need to be working on. But that's it, guys. That's Monday morning. What we're going to try to do this week, going to try to make a little progress on these saddles. Going to try to finish up that knife scabbard video first and foremost, and get some belts tooled, because we've got a lot of belts we need to get tooled. I say a lot, we got 3, but I've got a bunch of quotes I got to do, and I got some other belts I need to get kind of started. And my wife and I are going to have a meeting this morning to kind of look at what orders we have, because like I said, now it's go time. It's getting into Christmas season. You got to kind of stay ahead of yourself, because every year I'll get up to Christmas down to the wire and I'm still hustling, trying to figure out if we can get everything done. We always do, but it gets stressful. So I really want to be ahead of myself this year, and that way we can be sure it all gets done. But so I appreciate y'all watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you're looking for tutorials and videos, and if you just found us and you're looking to get into leather work, that is what we do, is try to teach you how to tool, how to form leather, how to sew leather, how to do any type of leather craft skill outside of boots, because I don't know anything about boots. But if you're interested in that, be sure to check out the other videos on our channel, or check out our website at dgsaddlery.com, as we've got a lot of blog articles and pattern packs and stuff like that on there as well. And if you're ever in Moulton, Texas, come by and visit. But I appreciate y'all, and we'll see you in the next video.